All right, it is that time. Hello, hello, and thank you guys so much for joining on today. Now, let me ask you something. Is your doctor on time? When you go to your doctor's visit, whoever provides you health care, if it's a nurse, whoever it is, are they on time? And the answer is probably not. And the reason why I say that is because as a primary care physician, I hear it a lot that you guys are saying, like, what's the deal? I don't understand why you guys are not on time. I've heard all the reasons why you guys think that we are not on time. Well, today is the day where we're going to talk about it, and you're going to get the real from someone who has been in that system and understands a little bit how it works. So I'm going to talk about why we are late, but also what you can do to be able to help yourself when you're in this situation. Like, what can you do? So go ahead, tell your friends and let them know that we are watching. I am Dr. Ashley Booth. I am a board certified family medicine physician, and I'm ready to hop into it. So go ahead, subscribe, share, follow. If you haven't done all those great things, let people know that I am live right now so that they can get this information, because I have heard the streets are talking and people are saying, you guys are late, you guys are late, and you are giving me all these different reasons why we are late. Also, tell me who's watching. Now, listen, I do my best to try to say hello when you chime in, because if I see it, I'm going to say hi. I love knowing that you're there. But if I don't say hello, don't think that I'm ignoring you. It's because for some reason, all of it doesn't come to me. So after I finish, then I'll go back and see who said what, and then I'll try to get to you that way. But go ahead, tell me who's watching, where you're watching from. Also, listen in the chat, tell me why you think we're late. Tell me, because the streets are talking. I'm hearing it. You won't hurt my feelings because I've heard all the things. So you can tell me in the chat why you think people are not going, like why your doctor is not on time. One of the things I've heard is that we are too busy back there counting all this money that we're making, right? People are telling me we're doing that. The other thing, and if you haven't seen that prop before, then you want to make sure you check out the other video where I did that. The other reason is people say that we think that we are better than you. And we just feel like we are too good, we're too cool for school, and we're better than you. Our time is more valuable. And so that's the reason why we're late. And so we have no respect of your time. Well, I'm here to tell you that I understand those reasons. I hear what you're saying, but for the most of us, we want to be on time. I promise you, the majority of us would like to run on time. So, in order for me to help you understand what happens with this whole situation, I need to talk to you about the whole scheduling system and how the schedule is set up. And then that way it'll probably start making sense. So, with the schedule, excuse me, with the schedule, what you have is 15-minute slots. If you are in the traditional healthcare system, which means that you're using your insurance to go somewhere, what is typically happening is they're putting you in 15-minute slots, which means that every 15 minutes there's a new person on the schedule that needs to be seen, and that is their time. So that means that you're up to at least four patients an hour that are scheduled to be seen. In that 15 minutes, you have to check in. You have to be seen by the nurse. The nurse is going to get your vitals and they're going to say, why are you here today? Then from there, that information should go to the doctor. The doctor gets to review it. They come in, they start to talk to you. You tell them what your concerns are. They do an exam. And then after they do that exam, the next thing is coming up with a treatment plan. And then you may have time after that to do some questions. Not a lot of time when you really break it down and think about it. Because let's break those 15 minutes down. And what I tell people, you have 15 minutes to win it. And so let's look at that 15. In that 15, it's probably going to take about 5 minutes to check in. And people is like, well, what if I did my check in online? That is great and wonderful. And I love that you checked in online. But the thing that happens with checking in online is when they put the two systems together, the check in system online plus their medical record system, they may not communicate. I know it sounds ridiculous, but unfortunately, sometimes that's what it is. So you still may have some check in stuff that you have to do at the front counter. I've experienced this as a patient as well. Again, I have some videos about that and my frustration when I had to go to my doctor and they had me to check in 3 times. So it happens, but you're going to have to check in. Once you check in, they want to verify a few things. After that, you're going to spend some time with the nurse. That's about another 5 minutes for them to check your vitals, find out what's going on, and then relate that information to your doctor and put in the chart. Then you meet with your actual provider, your doctor, your nurse, whoever that person is. And so maybe you have 5 more minutes, 5, 10, 15. So that's it. And in that 5 minutes, you have to be able to discuss what your concerns are, and then make sure that that information is relayed to your doctor really well. They're able to ask you some questions to clarify it, examine you, treatment plan. Not a lot of time. So you got to figure out how you are going to be able to maximize that. Now, when in that 15 minutes, as you can see, it's already a tight system and it doesn't take a whole lot to get off track. So then when somebody says, well, I'm just running 5 minutes behind, let's see what happens when they do that. It takes 5 minutes to check in. So if they're running 5 minutes behind, that only leaves 10 minutes left to do what they need to do. That's not a lie because we still have to do check in, you still have to talk to the nurse, and then you still have to talk to the doctor. If we're not able to get that done in that 10 minutes that we have left, which is probably not going to happen because technically you still have to do check in, and then you have to talk to the nurse. So you really don't have any time left to talk to the doctor. So that time is gone. What happens is you're over in this extra 5 minute slot, which now means that you are over into the other patient spot. So you being 5 minutes late can now cause the whole system to shift and be 5 minutes late, at least. It actually can add up to be more than that. So when you say, oh, I'm just 5 minutes late, it's not that big a deal. What's happening is it is shifting that system. So if you're late, that is what's causing that problem. If you are not aware and you don't know kind of what you want to discuss and that sort of thing, you're having to shuffle and look for all these different things, then that can cause the system to be shifted. So you have to think about all these things because it can easily throw us off track. The other thing is your doctor, not only do they have to see you and do those every 15 minutes, but then in between those time, there's a lot of other duties. They have a lot of paperwork, lots and lots and lots of paperwork. Some of it we sign off, but we still need to verify before we sign off. There's others that we have to actually fill out some information because they're going to say, well, when did you see them and what did you do and then what did you think, and all. So it can be a pretty big process. So we have paperwork, we have phone calls. We are either calling back patients or we are calling and talk to other providers. Hey, I have this going on. Can you check out this for me? We're getting calls from the pharmacy. We need to verify, make sure this is really what you wanted to send, or we want to let you know they're also on this. And so that, so it can be a lot. Those my chart messages, you guys say, oh, well, I talked to my doctor via my chart and they get right back to me. Some people say, I was supposed to hear from them and I haven't. And the reason why is because they have all of these other things and then have to figure out when they can fit that extra stuff in there that's outside of seeing you face to face. So you have to keep all of that stuff in mind of that one thing can truly trigger the system and throw us off track. So, knowing this, there are some things that you can do because you can't control if someone comes late. You can't control if these other things are going on, but there are some things that you can actually do and say, okay, what can I do to kind of help this system out? The one thing, the first thing is to be early. A lot of people give me an eye roll on this one, but I promise you, if everyone did this, the system would be so much better and it would work so much better because if you already know that it's going to take you at least 5 minutes to check in, if you show up at least 10 minutes early, then you have already gotten your check-in out of the way. Some offices will go ahead and let you get checked in with the nurse and do your vitals and stuff, so then all that is ready and then all they're doing is waiting on the room, and then they can take you in there, the doctor can review the information, and then they can come in and talk to you. So if everyone was at least 5 to 10 minutes early, it will definitely help this run smoother. My seasoned people understand this and they show up early, and sometimes it works in their favor. I had a gentleman this week who called and he had his appointment scheduled. He showed up 30 minutes early for that appointment. I did not have anyone else in that spot, so I was able to take him on. He actually was able to leave before his appointment time was supposed to be scheduled to start. And a lot of times, a lot of doctors will do that. If they have someone who's already there, ready to go, and you have that person who's 5 minutes or just right on time, their appointment is at 10 and they show up at 10, then they're going to take that other person sometimes because you still have to do your check-in and da 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 da. This person is already checked in, they're ready to go. So they will see them, and now you will be pushed a little bit later. So sometimes that's what happens. The other thing is be prepared. I know I talk about this a lot, but it is crucial and essential because your office visit starts before you walk in that door. Your office visit started when you had that phone call and you called and you said, "Hey, this is what's going on and I need some help. Can you guys help me out?" So when that happens, that's the moment when you need to go ahead and start writing down your concerns and writing down the things associated with it. So if you are having stomach pain, well, how long has it been going on? When did it start? What other symptoms do you have with it? Has this happened before? What have you done for it? All of those things are important. And then, as specific as you can. If you're taking a medication, don't just say this medication. Like, we need to know all of it because a lot of medications now have a lot of different brands. There are a lot of different variations of it. Like, you have, I say all the time, Mucinex. You used to just say, "Oh, I'm taking some Mucinex." Now there's Mucinex DM, Mucinex cough and cold, Mucinex blah blah blah. And so all of those have a different type of medication mixed together in it to get you what you need. And we need to know what all those different forms are, because then it tells us what is working for you, what isn't, and what's the next thing for us to try. So making sure that you are ready for that. Prioritize your concerns. If you have 15 minutes, 5, 10, 15 minutes to win it, that's not a lot of time to discuss things. And in that traditional system, you are really only going to be able to discuss 1 to 2 items. That's it. Realistically, 1 to 2 things. So you have to set your expectation for that. Thinking that you can talk about 5 things is probably not going to happen. You have 1 to 2 things that you can discuss well, and get a solid plan on. So you have to prioritize those. When you first go to your doctor's visit and they say, "Why are you here today?" You need to be able to lay out. Go ahead and tell them, "I'm concerned about my stomach pain, and then I had this thing that happened with my toe, and then my I felt like I had a flutter in my heart, and then blah blah." Tell them all of what you're concerned about, and then from that list, your doctor is going to prioritize what they think, because you may say something that they say, "Oh, that's really important." And then you may prioritize, because if you tell them off the bat, you guys will both know these are the things they're concerned about. Let's figure out which is most important. They're going to ask you what's most important, but depending on what you told them, that little chest flutter, that may not feel like a big deal to you, but your doctor says that's about the first thing I need to talk about. So you guys can come up with what you guys both feel is of concern so that you can get what you feel like you need to get out of that visit. Because what you don't want to do is wait until the end of the visit and say, "Oh, by the way." The "oh, by the ways" are usually that most important thing that you're concerned about. But then you wait until the end, the doctor has wrapped up the visit, told you all the things, their hand is on the doorknob, and you say, "Oh, yeah, by the way." That, by the way, could be a game changer. And that means that they either going to have to stop and spend more time. If they spend more time and your time is up, now you're going into the other person's time, right? And then it's cheating. It's cheating the whole system. It cheats you because you don't get a really good idea as to what's been going on with you, because your doctor doesn't have a lot of time to be able to figure out really what's going on and do a good job on it. And then it cheats the other person who comes behind you, because now their visit is either going to be short or it's going to be rushed or any of those types of things. So you don't want to wait at the end and do your "oh, by the way." Whatever you think might be an "oh, by the way," and I want to talk about it, tell them in the very beginning. You guys prioritize your list, figure out what's important, and go from there. And the other thing is be considerate. And what I mean by that is, what happens is sometimes doctors may overbook on their schedules, right? And people get frustrated with that. But let me tell you why sometimes that happens. Not saying I agree, just saying I understand. It happens because our schedules, there's usually about a 5 to 10%, it could even be higher than that, no show rate. People just don't call, they don't show up. So then you have a spot here that is not being used. People say, "Oh, well, yeah, because financially you guys want to fill that spot." Listen, a lot of doctors got into this because they wanted to help people, right? And so if you have someone calling and they say, "Listen, I'm dealing with this, you can help me. Can you get me in and help me today?" Well, by nature, we say, "Oh, yes, I want to help this person. I probably can fix that." So then they say, "Well, come on in," because someone probably will cancel anyway. And sometimes that's what happens. If you're the person on the phone who's calling, you want your doctor to be able to say, yeah, I can get you in and we got a spot here for you. If you are a person in the office and you're sitting there and you see an extra person walk in and the lobby seems like it's already full, you're like, oh my gosh, what is really going on today? But if you're courteous, the reason why we can cut this down is if you are considerate and you call your doctor and you say, listen, I'm not going to be able to make that appointment, then they know, okay, well, then we don't have to double book and overbook all that kind of stuff. I know that this person is not going to be here. So now I can move this person into that slot. So that's something to think about. The other thing is confirm your appointment. I know a lot of offices now that if you do not confirm that appointment, they will cancel your appointment because the fact that you didn't confirm to them in their eyes means that you are not going to show up. So give them the courtesy of saying, sure, yeah, I will be there. And not only will I be there and say that you're going to be there, actually show up. Because think about it again, a lot of these offices, a lot of doctors are pushed to the max. We do not have enough doctors, nurses, providers who can be there to serve all the patients. So there's why you have a 3, 6 month, even 12-month wait getting in some places. So if you don't show up, there's another person who really could have benefited from that. So make sure that if you can't be there, let somebody know, hey, I can't come. So that way they can call someone else who really wants to be there so that they can get the help that they need. Now, knowing all of this, thinking about all this, it can be a little bit overwhelming and it doesn't have to be. And what I have is some exciting news. Mm-mm-mm. What is going to happen is I have put together a whole little toolkit for you guys, and it is coming out very soon. Give me a couple of weeks, and I'll definitely announce that it's coming out. But to help you with your personal health history, because people are like, oh, I have to keep up with all this stuff, and then what do they want to know? And what I got you. Don't worry about it. So, the personal health history is going to be that form that you have that has all of your doctor information, pharmacy information, medications, all that stuff, and you have it in one place. Keep it with you, take it to your doctor's office, and they're going to say, where'd you get this from? And you say, Dr. Booth gave it to me. That way you look like a rock star and you'll be their favorite patient for the day. Okay. The other thing that I have coming out is your prioritized health form. So if you have a few things that you want to talk about, what it will do is help you to put that stuff down on paper. So I'm concerned about headaches. And then I'm concerned about this. So you will be able to say, this is my concern. This is what's been going on. This is when it started. This is the medication I've been taking, like all of this stuff. And it lays it all out. So then when you go to your doctor's office, you can pull it up. It's right there. You don't have to go rummaging through things or call people or whatever. It's right there, ready for you to have it. And the other thing is I have a smart health goals kit as well, or part of the kit. The smart health goals, at the end of the day, everybody wants to get well, but getting there takes some work, especially for those of you who say, I don't want to take medicine. And I get it. If you don't want to take it and there is a way to get to it, do like some lifestyle modifications, then we have to be really intentional about that. And you have to set some goals. Just like you set goals for everything else, you have to set some health goals. So if you say, I know one of the ways to help is for me to get out and walk. Okay, you want to walk? When? I'm going to walk 3 days a week. Okay, which days? For how long? Where? Once you start pinpointing that stuff down, it really becomes a part of you, becomes a part of your lifestyle. Then you'll look at it and it becomes something that you're accountable for. And then you start hitting those goals. And then you're like, oh, okay, yeah. Because what happens is I have quite a few people who say, I want to do the things. And then we follow up and I said, did you do the things? And then they say, no, I didn't do it. And I said, well, what happened? And then we talk about it. So if you want to make sure that you hit those goals, then you have to write them down just like you do everything else. And you have to start figuring out how you can implement them in your life. So stay tuned. That health toolkit is coming. And I will definitely let you guys know when it is out there so that you can have it and you can be rock stars in your health. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I absolutely appreciate it. I wish for you to be well and to be healed. Take care, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.